Welcome to Star Citizen and the XXL News Analysis. This week there was extensive information and announcements concerning the upcoming version 3.15 as well as the period directly around the digital Citizencon in October. And in our detailed analysis we even hit the announcement of iCache. We start first with innovations around the fight player against player, thus the PvP area, as well as the revision of the Arena Commander, which was thematized in the current Inside Star Citizen. Here the community often splits into two camps, where one side prefers a full PvP and the other side which have a PvE focus, so the fight against the AI or even prefer completely peaceful activities. And a third faction, who are specialized in shooting defenseless players from landing pads, ambushing peaceful players as unfair as possible, not making any demands or even interested in piracy. There are also, of course, but these are not PvP players. For us, they are more like jokers, who would perhaps be better off in Fortnite. Basically, the PvP system should be possible at any time, but offer different risks and opportunities depending on the system. In systems with a very high military and security presence, where here the system terror was mentioned, a PvP, so piracy or illegal activities, is quite possible, but the risks and negative effects for such actions are then significantly higher than in a system with a minimal security presence such as Pyro. And based on this, the possibility of taking advantage of illegal activities is also justified. Therefore, risky and very dangerous missions, which include a PvP aspect, are enormously lucrative. As an example, the recurring event of the Ninetales lockdown, which has been activated for 3.14, was mentioned. Here it is possible to take the side of the criminal Ninetales, which is supposed to be much more lucrative than taking action against them on the legal side. But also upcoming events like Jumptown 2, which is supposed to offer an enormously lucrative source of income for a limited period of time, were mentioned, whereby here the focus will be almost exclusively on PvP. But also in the area of the Arena Commander module, which is also a core function for PvP, there will be extensive changes and revisions with version 3.15. Here, the focus is on the previous maps Broken Moon and Dying Star, whereby these will be up to 10 times larger and will be divided into several areas. So we find an area which is very tightly meshed with many asteroids, a more open area, as well as a third area in which larger structures provide cover. Furthermore, the graphical presentation of the maps has been brought up to date, which includes volumetric gas clouds as well as new particle effects and impressive lighting.
You better pray, born-bred overcomer. I can't be content.
And since Theaters of War is also progressing and we recently received some information about it, it can be assumed that there is a connection with the Arena Commander expansion. But let's go to the really big announcements and new features, which we can find in smaller sections in the monthly report on Squadron 42, as well as mainly the current roadmap roundup and release view. Let's start with the report on Squadron 42, where most of the information here comes directly from the roadmap. Therefore, the relevant information about Squadron 42 compactly focused on the important areas. Animations for the salvaging mechanics as well as medical gameplay elements concerning usable tools have been continued. Animations for the flight launch of carrier ships, the Bengal or ships like the Idris or Javelin were generated for NPCs, focusing more on the female NPCs. Some NPC characters from the single-player expansion were finalized, among them Wade, McLaren and Mason. For the Vandal areas, different variations and different models were worked out, which will provide more variety among our opponents. The medical deck of the Bengal was almost completely finished, and the team stressed that they were already very satisfied with the current state, which would also reflect the goal to be achieved.
I'm a game changer. I'm a risk taker.
Pedro Camacho, one we already know from various epic music pieces, composed his own track for the Journey in the Quantum. The extensive work on the implementation of the Generation 12 renderer continues. And for our AI wingman who will accompany us in various missions, this AI has been optimized and improved. We come to the Roadmap Roundup, where comparatively many areas have been added that were initially put on hold. Let's start with the revision of the plasma weapons, which cause damage over time, as well as in larger calibers leaves a kind of radiation cloud, which also causes damage should we come into contact with it. And is likely that this type of damage would also be available for ground weapons. With the incendiary ammunition, a ballistically fire damage type, we have the chance that a hit target catches fire more easily, so here in the interior complications can arise from the forms of flames to be fought. Damage over time is also included here. Alternatively, with the ballistic EM pulse shot, we can not only cause damage, but also affect the systems of the target hit, exposing them to electromagnetic interferences. Mines for space are also announced, although these are not limited to the Nautilus as a mine layer, but should be available for a wide range of ships. This also applies to the bombs appearing with 3.15, which are to come in their maximum form for the A2 bomber, but other ships can also be equipped with smaller variants. Also, the flight system will be expanded, and that ships with less maneuverable engines will be much more difficult to control in the atmosphere. The Crusader Genesis Starliner is in the works. Although this is currently announced as a passenger-only transport, here it remains exciting whether a cargo variant or a general modularity will continue to exist. Also in the works is the RSI Orion, the absolute pinnacle of mining vessels, this being an entire mining platform. This mining giant is every industry mogul's dream. And with the RSI Lynx rover, a variant of the Ursa rover, which appeared as a concept with the constellation Phoenix, the luxury version of the rover awaits us. And with version 3.16 and 17, respectively, the hospitals in Area 18 and Lowville are planned. But also some areas were temporarily removed from the roadmap. This includes cutting Tier 2, the loading possibility of energy cells, ground vehicles version 2 as well as ground races, the Akiro cluster, the first data missions as well as special reputation missions. And finally, all planned features and mechanics which will be released with a digital Citizencon or beta with version 3.15. The medical gameplay comes in variety of areas, where we find a lot of individual areas which could often be summarized. Among other things, all clinics appear except for Area 18 and Lowville, which will follow with 3.16 and 17. Version 2 of Horizon with more stores and improvements as well as generally more stores, shopping possibilities and vendors are in planning. For the medical gameplay, the AI of the doctors and nurses which should react to player actions is coming. As mentioned, the new version of the Broken Moon map will appear in Arena Commander. And with the infiltration and defense missions, we get the first implementation of the new spawn closets, which is the technology that spawns AI enemies one by one out of our sight, offering a new mission type and directly new gameplay. But there were highlights offered a physicalized and local inventory, which on the one hand with the equipping of the ships, as well as the also new Knickknacks app, a new and improved version of the equipment manager, directly represents the implementation of iCache in the game. Because the personal inventory describes nothing else than the physicalized storage and localization of weapons, gadgets, consumables and our components, for which the iCache technology was explicitly named at the basis. Thus, our ships, the equipment and the items that initially fall under it are permanently stored via the iCache system persistent, which offers us significant advantages and a significant increase in credibility. This is the technology we have been waited for so long, along with server meshing. And after the cargo refactor, also currently a big topic, it is only a matter of time until the iCache system is also comprehensively implemented in this area, as well as the still missing game mechanics. With the personal inventory, however, the first big and important step is already in sight. Also in this area is the first generation of loot, randomly generated crates, boxes and containers, which we can find and loot during missions or while exploring special locations. With the FPS radar and scanning, we are not only get the possibility to scan on foot or in vehicles, but this system is also significantly expanded for ships where we get a higher range of scanning and signals can be actively attenuated by hiding behind obstacles or using other sources of influence. With the healing tier 0, as well as the healing for NPCs, we get the first mechanics for the medical gameplay, where we can heal players and NPCs alike. This includes the Cure Life medical tool, as well as the attachment for the Grey Cat multi-tool. Thus we have the first complete package for the medical gameplay. And with the mentioned bombs, we get the possibility not only to use the A2 accordingly, but also to provide other ships with bombs in other sizes, and to make ground targets unsafe. And finally, we get with the Aegis Redeemer, the Ares Starfighter versions of Crusader, as well as the Starlifter A2 version, new ships which are announced. Unannounced ships, however, are clearly the more interesting topic. Here we can expect up to 5 ships and vehicles for digital Citizencon. Here it remains exciting whether ships like the Origin 400i, further medical gameplay relevant ships like the Apollo or Medivac, or even completely new concepts will appear. I hope you enjoyed the video and leave me a like and maybe even a subscribe here. With the iCache system, we get after several years the first version of permanent and cross-server persistence, which has not yet been created to this extent. Here we have a true milestone in gaming history in sight, and this point alone is a really big deal. But as always, I'm interested in your opinions on the subject. How do you see the current developments and the prospect of 3.15? Feel free to write me in the comments, in the Discord or the almost daily Twitch live streams. And as always, the most important at the end, a big thank you to all our Patreons, channel members and Twitch subscribers. Without you, this would not be possible in this form. You are a huge motivation. Thank you for your support, guys. You rock! And of course, there will be extensive giveaways again this month. How you can participate and what to expect, you can see in the following announcement trailer. I say goodbye until next time. See you soon! And as always, see you in the verse.